as vaccines are ramping up and we get used to wearing these masks, we want to start having in-person events leading up to the hearings, which currently are scheduled for May 17th. There's always a chance they could be rescheduled again. They have been now twice, and you just don't know what the courts are going to do. So people should be aware that there's always a possibility that the hearings could be rescheduled again. However, right now they are scheduled for May 17th, and that is only 2 short months from now. And even if they were to be rescheduled again, it probably wouldn't be months and months out. It would maybe only be a couple months out. So we really need now to start ramping up our campaign for justice for Rodney again. These hearings that are upcoming are going to be a chance for Rodney's legal team to present a lot of the evidence that has been gathered over the years that does prove that Rodney is innocent. There's forensics evidence, there's witness testimony, there is all kinds of things that will be able to be presented at this hearing by the legal team in a very cohesive way, which we think will really paint the picture of his innocence.
Yeah.
However, there's still obstacles. We were not able to get the judge that we wanted, and they were able to appoint the guy that they wanted. And as we know with our experience with Doug Shaver the last time around in the hearings, that did not go so great. So there's still pressure that we want to put on the state in particular about why are they pursuing this unjust conviction. They need to let go of that. Brian Gertz needs to let go of that. The state's attorney general's office needs to stop pursuing this case. Rodney needs to be free, and so that's sort of why we're here today, to say that and to start to put that pressure on these people in the lead up to the hearing that is upcoming. So we're here, and we've got just some family and some friends and some longtime activists that are going to say a few words about justice for Rodney, and that's what we're going to do right now. I do also want to point out that there's a couple tables here. Texas Death Penalty Abolition Movement has a table over here with information. There's a little table over here that has some leaflets for an event we'll be doing here in Bastrop on April 17th, I believe is the date, over at the Kerr Community Center and Park. That's our next in-person event, and there's also extra hand sanitizer, wipes, extra masks over there. We ask people to be masked at our event, so if you need a mask, there are masks over on that table. And there's also, we can't send greeting cards into death row anymore. They have banned that, but we have started some sheets of paper over there where people could write a message to Rodney. So if you want to visit that table before you leave and write a little message for Rodney there, people should do that. Okay, and so now we're going to get started, and the first person that we are going to hear from today is a longtime supporter of the Reed family, and she also has an innocent brother on Texas death row. Her name is Dahlia Perez-Meyer, and she's going to start us out with a few words.
Yeah, let me grab my notebook because I'm going to...
Oh, she's grabbing her notebook, and I'm going to wipe off the microphone. With the wipe.
All right. Thank you, Willie. All right, thank you guys. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
It's so nice to see you all. I feel like I should be standing facing you this way. Okay, well, thank you for being here, everyone, today. It is truly an honor and a blessing always to be here with the Reed family that I consider my own brothers and sisters. And you know, today is a very special occasion for all of us, is that we haven't been able to get together for over a year. We haven't been able to visit our loved ones for over a year, and we finally got to visit them this week. And let me tell you, it was exhilarating to be able to visit our loved ones. So, yeah, we're very excited about this hearing in May. We're very prayerful that things are going to go right and that we're going to get some relief for Rodney. Finally, it's time. And the tides are turning for all of us. We have a new district attorney in Austin that's doing a great job, and I know that everybody is, taking heed and listening and paying attention, and I think we're going to have success for Rodney. As you all know, we have certain hallmarks of this flawed system that is evident in our case, like so many others. The wrongful convictions of Rodney and Lewis, they've been there for 23 years. They were riddled with errors and overzealous police officers. The jury selection process is flawed from the very beginning. Did you know that you cannot be on a jury in Texas unless you are willing to kill someone? You have to be willing to impose a death penalty to be on a jury in Texas. There's a withholding of evidence in every single one of our cases. Unfortunately, there is evidence that is being withheld from the jury, from the judge, from the public, and it's in those boxes. Am I too loud for you? Are you okay?
Yeah.
Blasting right in his ear. The withholding of evidence, and thanks to God, somebody told me that they worked on the Michael Morton law. Who is here that worked on the Michael Morton law? The Michael Morton law has really saved a lot of our lives on death row, in that it now makes it illegal for the prosecutors to withhold evidence. And that really saved our lives, because they're stopping a lot of executions based on this fact. Sorry guys, I can't lick my fingers and turn the page. That kills me at the HEB. Okay, so as you all know, the Black Lives Matters movement has been instrumental all around this world in making changes for all of us, and we're so grateful for that. It's worldwide attention that have come to our cases, and we're so grateful for everyone that's here today and everybody that has come forward to share our cases, both Rodney's and ours, and a lot of other cases. So as you all know, we have a long history of decimation of our Native American populations, our African Americans, our Mexican peoples, and we're still struggling today. It's evident today. It hasn't gone away. Has it gotten better? Well, it's definitely out in the public. And for that, we are grateful, especially for those of you that are reporters and writers and filmmakers, documentary guys. We love you, You guys have not only helped us personally, but have helped our brothers and sisters on death row. So I just want to say one thing about this man standing right here, that I appreciate you so much for being so strong and having gone through what you have been through with the federal executions. You can't imagine how grateful I am that you were there with our team on the ground in Terre Haute, Indiana, when I couldn't take it. I just physically, mentally, emotionally couldn't take it. I sat there for one day, and I felt the horror and the pain and the terror that we're all feeling as families. And I got in my car and I drove home. I thank you. Thank you for being there. And Juana, where are you, Juana? Thank you for being so strong and for standing there. For 22 executions this past year, guys. Say their names with me. John Gardner. Donnie Lance. Abel Ochoa. Nicholas Sutton. Nathaniel Woods. Walter Barton. Billy Joe Wardlow. Daniel Lewis Lee. Wesley Ira Punky. Dustin Lee Honkin. Lesmond Mitchell. Keith Dwayne Nelson. William Emmett LaCroix. Oh, I can't lick my finger. Christopher Villalba. Orlando Hall. Brandon Bernard. And Alfred Bourgeois. Lisa Montgomery. Corey Johnson. And Dustin Higgs. My brother Luis Castro Perez sends his love to each and every one of you. And he told me that on Tuesday. Tell everyone that I said, I love you.
We love Louis. Oh, I thought that was a tissue. I got this thing. Thank you, guys.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Julia. Okay, next we're going to bring up one of the strongest women that I know in my whole life, a good friend who I love very much, the mother of Rodney Reed, Sandra Reed.
I love you, and thank you so much for being here. I want to thank my strong son, just as Celia did. I love him, his wife, and my grandbaby, RJ. They have been one of my biggest supporters, and all of you. And Houston, every time we had an event, you came, and I thank you. And now I met a new people from Giddens, and then Pam. I can't forget your name. I can't. Oh, honey, 39 years incarcerated for something you didn't do. God bless you. I don't know names, but thank you all. Okay, but I wrote something that I want to say, and it's in my mind. In my spirit, I feel a change in the air. Change is overdue in this county courthouse and all across the United States of America. In this courthouse, a perfect demonstration of racism was shown when they tried my son. When they tried my son by an all-white jury, and none of his peers. That's meaning Jim Crow. They made me a potential witness for the prosecution when I should have been a witness for my son. That was a feeling of hatred. To hire two people, court-appointed, the same skin color of mine within 6 months of the trial. And they gathered witnesses that could testify the knowing of the relationship between Rodney and the deceased. But they never called them. They never called them, and yet were paid $95,000. Court appointed, $95,000. She was paid $44,000. He was paid $48,000. That shows that people will do anything for money. Anything. These acts proves conspiracy, hatred, inequality, prejudice against the poor, and most of all, racism. Remember, these acts cannot be committed without the judge allowing it. To endure the fact that Judge Townsley wrongfully convicted Rodney in his court, and Townsley Colbert, his daughter, presided over all of his appeals until they were exhausted, and to hire a visiting judge to rubber stamp everything that they have done. Mm-hmm. This is inhumane. Mm-hmm. We, the Reed family, continues to stay strong in this fight, knowing when Rodney wins this fight, it means justice for others. Thank you for your support, and I love you. God bless you. Thank you.
Thanks, Sandra. Yeah, I agree about Doug Shaver. He was there to rubber stamp, and we are hoping for a different result, obviously, out of this hearing that's coming up, but we know that we have to make some noise to try to get that result, the result that we want, that we need, and that this family has been waiting for so long. Our next speaker is a longtime anti-death penalty activist based in Houston. When the state murders somebody, she can often be found in Huntsville on that evening protesting outside of the walls of the death house. And she's just been here from the beginning, fighting for justice for Rodney Reed and so many other death row prisoners across the country. So, Gloria Rubesque from Texas Death Penalty Abolition Movement.
Hey, y'all. We're going to start with a chant. Texas says death row. We say hell no. Texas says death row.
We say hell no.
Death row.
Hell no.
Death row.
Hell no.
The man whose office is behind us is a criminal. He is the one that should be locked up, because Brian Gertz and all of these people in this courthouse center here know, they know that Rodney Reed is innocent and that he should be freed 20 years ago.
That's right.
Now, it is up to us to keep the pressure on to let not only Brian Gertz, but everybody in Brazos County and everybody in the whole state of Texas know that not only should Rodney Reed be freed, we need to abolish the damn death penalty once and for all. There is no such thing as a criminal justice system, because that system is nothing but injustice. It's filled with racism. It's filled with crooks, from the cops that arrest you, to the courts, to the judges, to the whole shebang.
I don't think you're speaking.
Oh, no? What do I do?
Oh, there you go.
Oh, okay.
He's pressing the button.
Oh, I'm sorry. Anyway, before I go any further, I would like to introduce you to somebody who is here today at her first demonstration. Even though she's, well, I don't think she's as old as I am, but it's her first demonstration because she spent 20 years on Texas death row and another 19 years in prison. And she just got the ankle monitor and all that high-tech crap that they put on you when you get out of prison. Pam, come up here. This is Pam Perillo. Pam is trying to get permission now to actually go visit her friends that she left back on death row. And you know, we don't hear about the women, but there's 6 women on death row. And I don't know if I can name all of them. Dahlia Perez, here, you name them.
It's Dahlia Perez, Brittany Holberg, Erica Shepard,
Yes.
Linda McCarty, Kim Carty, and that's it, right?
Kim, Mel, Erica.
Oh, and Melissa.
Melissa Lucio.
Yes.
Not too many people get on death row, and when they do, many of them are so traumatized and have PTSD that it's hard for them to function. But here today, we have Pam, who understands what the death penalty is, and now is ready to fight it. So, welcome home, Pam. I remember when you were at the Harris County Jail having your hearing, and In fact, that's when Jerry got arrested.
Yes,
And
and I
she-
got an execution date.
And you got an execution date. Oh my God, how long? Well, that was 20 years ago.
Yeah, I came 2 days away from it.
2 days away from execution. Well, one day soon, Rodney Reed will be able to say the same thing.
Yes.
That I had an execution date, but I am home with my family now. You know, just looking at this god-awful tribute to the Confederacy, to racism, that statute symbolizes what the whole criminal and justice system is about.
Right, yep, right.
And you cannot separate. You know, have you ever thought about, there are no rich people on death row. There's no rich people in prison, more or less, unless they really screwed up. I mean, even that rich guy in Galveston that chopped up his neighbor and put him in a trash bag and put him in the Gulf of Mexico, he's still walking around. This system needs to be abolished. It is unjust, it's criminal, and look what it has done to so many people. Rodney's not the only one, and Pam's not the only one. It is systemic. The problems are systemic, and the whole system needs to be turned upside down. I want to just quickly mention Mumia Abu Jamal. Mumia was on death row for 81, 20 or 30 years in Pennsylvania. He grew up a member of the Black Panther Party. He became a journalist. He was known as the voice of the voiceless. And the cops in Philadelphia framed him up and sent him to death row in Pennsylvania. He got off death row, but he's still in prison. And right now, he is under, it's an emergency. His health is so bad. A few years back, he contracted hepatitis C. They wouldn't treat it because they said it was too expensive. He filed a lawsuit. Not only did he get the treatment, but so did 500 or 600 other people in Pennsylvania. But during the 2 years he had hep C, he wound up with cirrhosis of the liver and I forgot what it's called, but some kind of skin disease to where his skin is all black and cracking. And just recently he was diagnosed with COVID. When they had him in the infirmary at the prison, they had him chained, his wrists and his ankles. The skin disease that he has keeps him itching and just terrorizes him 24/7, but it also cracks open. And you can see in the photographs, I saw one of his ankle where there's blood seeping out where they had the shackles on him. So there's a newspaper on our table. It's called the Jamal Journal. It's full of information about Mumia's case. So we should be aware of that because Mumia he's written, I think, 15 books. He does radio broadcasts every week for prison radio. He's a hero, and we can't let them kill him by medical neglect. But anyway, thank everybody for coming out today. Gertz, you're going to be the next one that's going to be locked up because you're the real criminal. So, Texas says death row.
We say hell no.
Texas says death row.
We say hell no.
Abbott says death row.
We say hell no.
Huntsville says death row.
We say hell no.
Death row.
Hell no.
Death row.
Hell no.
Thanks, look. Did I mess it up?
No, you can.
Hello?
This is on.
Hold on. Can you guys hear me?
I can hear you.
Hello? Oh, there you go. Okay. Actually, I met Gloria maybe for the first time at a we went to Philadelphia together in 1998 for Millions for Mumia. It was actually not millions, but it was probably 20,000 or more people. It was a really big demonstration. And then also I wanted to say a few words about this Confederate monument over here. One of our organizers, who was supposed to be here today but couldn't make it, spearheaded an effort to get that removed, and it is going to be removed. And they have got the city to vote to remove it, but they told them they had to raise the money to pay for the cost. So they have been diligently doing that, and I think they pretty much got it all raised to get that thing out of here. So that's going down. That Confederate monument is not going to be there anymore. So, before I turn it over to our last speaker, I want to remind people to stop over at that table and sign a little note to Rodney on the paper that's there. It should be obvious. And to take a save the date leaflet for April 17th at Kerr Community Center over here. And as Gloria said, don't forget to stop by her table and get some information and find out what you can do to help other prisoners, including Mumia Abu-Jamal. So our last formal speaker today is also a tireless advocate for not just his brother, Rodney Reed, but for everyone on death row, not just in Texas, but everywhere. And as Dahlia mentioned, Roderick and his partner Juana have traveled many times to Terre Haute, Indiana over this last year to protest federal executions. There was a whole flurry of them toward the end of Trump's term. Just one other crime that man committed as on his way out the door. So they, Roderick and his partner Juana and their baby RJ, they're all over this country and hopefully all over the world, speaking out, but always keeping Rodney at the front of the advocacy that they do and always fighting to bring him home. So our last speaker is Roderick Reed.
Thank you. Thank you. First off, I'd like to give all honor and glory to God, because without him we can do nothing. With him we can do all things. Amen? Amen. And that's including abolishing the death penalty. You know, it is, thank you. It is a hard thing to get up here and to travel all around and not just speak out for your brother, but to speak out for everyone that is on death row, whether it's federal or state. But it is a must that we do so, that I do so. You know, if you'd asked me 24 years ago would I be doing such a thing, I couldn't even imagine it. But my brother was wrongfully convicted of the murder of Stacey Stites, and that set the wheels in motion. And over the years, my mother, she stood up and I was with her at her side while she spoke out. And you know, on these very courthouse steps, she said, y'all may kill my son, but the whole world may know about it. You're not going to get away with it. And so, with the help of the campaign to end the death penalty, Lily Hughes, Randy Hensley, and a whole host of other people, we started our activism. We started speaking out. And she led it. She led. My mom was the matriarch, is the matriarch of this family. She's the backbone of this family. And over the years, I've seen the wear and tear that it began to take hold on her. And I had to pray and ask God what could I do to help, not just my brother, but my mom, and it was for me to step up. So I did. And the more I got out there and started speaking and meeting other families that's going through the same situation that we are, the more I see a need to not just advocate for my own, but to advocate for everybody else as well. I seen it and I felt it and I knew that's something that had to be done. And then we started Reed Justice Initiative, and then we took off. We started going from New York to LA. We was on the Dr. Phil show, the Dr. Oz show, Democracy Now!, you name it, we was there. A&E, CNN, we've been everywhere. But the point of that is, we are not going to stop until we get justice for all, until we abolish the death penalty. Because one life taken is too many. And they don't understand, you know, my brother is sitting on death row right now, you know, for a crime he didn't commit. And every day that he's incarcerated is a day that we are incarcerated. It is a day that we are not whole. It is a day that we cannot be together as a family. And that's a hurting thing, you know. And I wouldn't wish that on nobody's family, you know. Bottom line is we need to do all that we can do and let God do the rest so we can abolish this death penalty. We need people to get involved, be committed, because it is not easy, it is hard, but we can do it together. We can do it together. We can lift one another up. We can carry each other when we're tired, but we need to do it together as a community, as a nation, as a state. We need to do this, and it is a must. You know, I spoke to one of my brother's attorneys yesterday, and they was telling me that Rodney's doing good, and that he wants to thank each and every one of his supporters. He sends you his love. And he said he's going to stand strong, and he's looking forward to the May 17th evidentiary hearing. And that's all we want. You know, we stand in there here today because all we want is equality. All we want is justice. Give us a fair trial. You don't have to free Rodney Reed. Just give us a fair trial and Rodney Reed will free himself. Because the evidence speaks for itself. And that's all we're asking. At every turn, Brian Gertz and this district attorney's office has been in cahoots with the judges, denying everything that comes before them. And how can you do that? How can you have a man on death row and a murder weapon hasn't been DNA tested? How can you have a man on death row when all the medical and forensic science proves his innocence? How can you have a man on death row when so many people know the truth and the world knows the truth, but yet he still sits there? And that is a hurting thing. So I asked you, just think about it. What if it were you? What if it was your family, your brother? What would you do? And I'm doing only thing that a good brother should, that a good family member should, that a good citizen should. Stand up for truth, right, and justice. And that's what we all need to do. Because if you can't stand up for that, don't stand up for nothing at all. Stand up for it. Be accounted for. I want to thank everybody that came out. Gloria, everybody, I can't call names, but everybody that came out. From the bottom of our hearts. Because that support and that love that you show us helps us live to fight another day. Gives us that strength to fight another day, and we need that. And so people get involved, go online, do whatever you can do to help abolish the death penalty. Because we're not just in this for Rodney, we're in this for everybody. You, me, and everybody. Justice shall be had. Thank you. Free Rodney Reed! 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 Free Rodney Reed!
Free Rodney Reed.
Thank y'all.
Thank y'all so much.
So much.
God bless you. Be safe going home.
Everybody have a safe trip going
And
home.
I'm so glad I met new people today as well. And seeing the old and the new is beautiful. Beautiful. Thank y'all.
Yes.
Are you cool with that?